Hi guys. Okay, so we've done loads and loads of practice on our single hoop. So the dogs are now all really happily running through the single hoop, no problem at all. We're now going to build on and add more hoops into the equation. So today we're going to be adding 2 hoops in, and then hopefully we'll be looking at a pinwheel as well a little bit later on. So on a single hoop, remember we used the marker word as the dog was approaching the hoop. With 2 hoops, we're going to add our marker word when the dog's head gets inside the first hoop, and the reward goes after the second hoop. Now, because it's a new exercise, we've added the second hoop into the equation. We're going to stand close to the hoops to start with. Again, as before, you're going to look at the hoop you want the dog to go through. As soon as it's going through the first hoop, we're going to mark it, turn to face the second hoop. Okay? Yes. 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 So again, take 10 treats out, work through your 10 treats. Once they've had the 10 treats, move the dog away from the equipment so they know it's break time. Now at the moment, these are only just over 1 meter apart. What we would do is we would make the gaps wider. We would also add distance that we're standing away from the hoops. But initially, stand really close to the hoops, let them go through at a 1.5 meter gap between the hoops. Gap needs to be, I should mention this because we've got different sized dogs here, the gap needs to be longer than the length of your dog. So your dog shouldn't be able to enter the second hoop until it's exited the first hoop. Okay, so if you've got a particularly long dog, I mean we've got a Vizsla training with us today, so it needs to be that little bit wider so that the Vizsla can go through. Obviously the Jack Russell, it's not going to be quite as wide because that's going to be exited a lot sooner. So we're going to start close to the hoop and gradually move away. Yes. 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 Good. Like everything, make sure you're doing it from both sides. Don't always work from one side, because on the course and down the line we're going to be changing directions and sending the dogs off in opposite directions. You need to be able to work the dog from both sides of your body, so always important to stand both sides of the equipment for every single exercise. Okay, you've all got your 2 hoops, go and give it a go. Don't rush any of the stages, so hoops close together, you close to the hoops, gradually stepping back. Your body position to start with should be halfway between the 2 hoops. Okay? Okay, just make sure everybody's got a good view of what's going on. Do excuse me playing with the hoops there while you're practicing. Okay, we're going to move on now to 3 hoops. This is what we call a pinwheel. So you can see we've got 2 side by side and 1 at the crossbar. So again, we're going to shape this. So we're going to stand and look at the first hoop. As the dog goes through the first hoop and heads towards the second hoop, we'll then mark the second hoop with our marker word. So as they go into the second hoop, we give him the cue word yes, and the reward gets thrown after the third hoop. Okay? Yes. Uh-oh. Yes. 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 Okay, I'm just going to turn the hoop round because I'm conscious of the fact that, as usual, I've got my back to the class. I know you all get used to seeing the back end of me, but there we go. Got the hoop the other way round now. So I'll try and show you again what's going on here. Now you notice the first time round, Reef actually missed one of the hoops. He went too wide. This is a problem you have down the line. If you've already taught your dog a pinwheel and we've started adding in space, when they've got to work tight again, some of the dogs can't really adjust very well. It takes them a little go to get their brain back in gear, which hopefully he now has. So with the dog on my right, I'm looking at the first hoop. Yes. And we mark the middle hoop. Yes. 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 So again, we need to move this on. We need to add bigger gaps between the hoops, and we need to add more space between us and the start of the pinwheel. But like everything, little tiny increments, guys. Don't try and go crazy all at once. So we'll add a little bit of space here. So at that, the dog could come between the gap if he wanted to. Hopefully he won't want to. Let's see what he does. Yes. Yes. Uh-oh. Yes. Oh dear, what was that? That was a little bit cheeky there. Let's try again. Not weaving. Yes, good boy. Joys of having a dog that's learning two sports. So Reef recently has been learning to weave. For some reason he's decided that these are weave poles, which quite clearly they aren't. He shouldn't be doing that. So all I'm going to do here is just make it a little bit bigger. Reef. Oh dear. So just look at the hoop you want the dog to go through. So for some reason Reef isn't liking that middle hoop. Take a step near. Yes! If you need to, take a step nearer. Yep. Reefy. Yes! Oh dear. Yes. Never work with children or animals, they say. So just build it up gradually. If the dog does fail, it's not the end of the world. We just go back a step and we start again. So that's introducing 2 hoops and a pinwheel.